माइक तो ये कौन है जो मेरे पास है? Yeah.
Let's get started. Yeah. So this is the first topic. This is from PIB. Okay. Now, see this. Press Information Bureau. Okay. So this is what Indian Navy Sector Commission Mahendragiri, the 6th project, 17A indigenous stealth frigate. Now we have to understand all these terms. Of course, all these are new to you. See, first thing, let's understand what is a frigate. So frigate is a medium-sized ship. Why it is important? Because frigates usually have a lot of ammunition. So basically, you know about aircraft launchers, aircraft carriers, IACs, correct? Okay, so all those that you hear of, those large ships, they have to be protected. Now those large ships are very good for carrying anything, correct? But they are not that maneuverable. That is, they cannot take turns like this. They cannot save themselves very easily. That is why you need frigates. Frigates are medium-sized, not very small also, medium-sized. They have missiles and everything in them, so as to protect your important assets, correct? So this is a frigate. Now, stealth means what? Stealth technology is basically, yes, to basically hide things, correct? So basically to hide from radars, to hide from different things, because enemies are also there now. They're also trying to track these frigates and all the ships that India has. So you need stealth. So stealth means it will be hidden from radar and everything. Then indigenous, you understand that we are trying to manufacture it completely in India. Right now we have reached it 75% indigenous content. Now, if you understand these three terms, now you need to understand Project 17A. First thing, Project 17. So Project 17 was the earlier project. This was the first time when we were trying to develop frigates. So this was called Shivalik class. So usually how they name it, the first one that they make, they name it by that class. So Shivalik, INS Shivalik was the first one, so they named it Shivalik class. So we made 3 ships in this, but not most parts were still imported, and here it was not that advanced. Now, the project 17A, which is going on right now, this is the 6th deliverable that has been commissioned. Total aim is of 7 advanced Nilgiri class stealth guided missile frigates. Now you understand everything. Like you had here Shivalik class, there you have Nilgiri class. The first one was Nilgiri. So Nilgiri class stealth, you understand now, guided missile, because in the sending missiles, guided missile here means cruise missiles, which can change directions. Frigates, you understand. Okay. So the sixth of this project 17A has been delivered. This is the main thing that has been done. Here A stands for alpha. Now, you need not remember all the names. They are usually named like Mahendragiri, Nilgiri. Giri means what? Giri means mountain. Okay, so these are named after mountains. Udaygiri, Mahendragiri, Nilgiri. So whatever you see dash giri, that means it's a frigate. Understood? Okay. Now you can just see this. This is just normal. The Indian Navy is set to commission 6th Project 17A indigenous stealth frigate Mahendragiri at Visakhapatnam on 11th of July 2026. This is named after Mahendragiri mountain range. Okay. In Eastern Ghats. Then this is the first naval warship to bear this name, of course. Then who designed this? This also needs to be remembered. So this is designed in-house by Indian Navy's Warship Design Bureau (WDB) and built by Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited (MDL) Mumbai. Okay, just some idea if you have, these two organizations made it. Then the propulsion system and all is too detailed, not very important for us. Basically again diesel running. One more thing that can be made, that can be used to make a wrong statement is this. It says over 75% indigenous content. Okay, it is not completely indigenous. So when UPSC gives you statements, it will call it completely indigenous. Okay, it will not ask you percentage, because percentage can change, and also percentages are very difficult to remember. So they will just write that IAS Mahendragiri is completely indigenous, and that would be a wrong statement. It is now almost more than 75% indigenous, but not completely indigenous. Then see, the last part of any article in PIB is all about praising the government. Like this is taking the Atmanirbhar Bharat forward, this, that. Okay, so last part is always this. As Indian Navy continues to strengthen its maritime capability through indigenous warship, mighty, majestic, matchless. Okay, so all these are just words. You understood what is the project? What has been commissioned now? Only one is remaining to be commissioned. Total 7 you will commission under project 70A. Now, boys in this institution, so the strength of the class keeps on decreasing. The boys' strength decreases like steep, very steep. First date is filled with boys, and then they find some other avenues in life. Pass their time. Yeah. Now, this is the first news that we have to cover. This is Line Shine supercomputer. Now, this is something that China has achieved recently. So basically, you know about GPU and CPU. You must have heard it at least. So GPU is graphic processing unit. CPU is central processing unit. CPU is what you have usually in your computers. Correct? From a long time we have heard of CPUs. Now CPUs are very good at something that we know as serial processing. What is serial processing? Basically one thing after the other. For example, let's say I try to record one video using webcam on this laptop. Then I will edit that video. That edited video I will upload on Drive. Then from Drive I will upload it on YouTube. Now this is the serial thing. Can I upload something on YouTube without recording it? No. So I have to go serially. So in this, CPU works very well. Now, another thing is called GPU. This is graphic processing unit. They work very well where parallel processing is required. Parallel processing example, if I have to make a photo of you, okay, then I can start from, let's say, your hands, or I can start from your face, from the top of your head, from your eyes, whatever. Ultimately, it should look like you. That is correct. Does it matter where do I start? No. Correct. So that means every part of it I can do it parallelly also. So parallelly I am trying to make perfect eyes just as your eyes are. Then perfect hair, then perfect face, everything I am trying to make, and if I combine them all together at once, simultaneously I can get your picture. This is what GPUs are very good at. That is parallelly processing things. CPU is serially, GPU is just parallelly and just many different cores, and they will create a picture directly. Okay, now the thing is, there are something known as supercomputers. What are supercomputers? Which have very high computational power. Now, usually the modern supercomputers are based on GPUs. Why? Because it can parallelly process many things. That means if let's say 1000 things are being done parallelly, then the capability increases a lot, correct? And it can do a lot of things within a very short duration. That is why modern supercomputers, see earlier we didn't have GPUs, okay? So then the supercomputers also were based on CPUs only. But since the 2000s and 2010s, most supercomputers are now GPU based. So mostly they are GPUs. Now, what problem China faced is, you might have heard this recently, in last 1-2 years, what USA is doing, there is a company called NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA is a very famous company that makes GPUs. Okay, now, so US, most of these companies are actually US based, who makes the most advanced GPUs. Now US stopped export of these GPUs to China, so that they are ahead in the race. Now, because of that, China first of all tried to develop their own GPUs and everything that they are trying, but simultaneously recently what they have done, they have made this line shine supercomputer. This is completely based on CPU, and this has beaten all the supercomputers that are available in the world. So basically this is China's claim to say that you may not export GPUs to us, without GPU also we will make the fastest supercomputer in the world, and they have been able to do this just using CPU and connecting many computational powers of CPU. They have created the fastest supercomputer. This is called line shine. So this topped the top 500 ranking as the world's fastest publicly listed supercomputer. This is installed in Shenzhen, China. Now, this achieved more than 2 exaflops of computational power. This is a unit to understand what is the computational power. For example, you have storage units like GB, bytes, correct? GB, TB. So this is measured in flops. Okay, so this has been achieved. This became the first CPU only system to cross 2 exaflops. And so then what is this top 500? So this is the global ranking of world's fastest supercomputers. This is published twice a year and based on high performance LINPACK benchmark. So this is a benchmark. If you want to remember, just remember this. There is also something known as Green 500. Okay. Now, Green 500 is basically those same supercomputers, but here the way they are measuring it or the way they are ranking it is not based on how efficient they are, but how sustainably they are using energy. So basically they are saying that, let's say you have to generate 1 flops of computational power. For that, how much energy is required? The one that requires the least will be at the top of this Green 500. This is another index that is least. Okay. This is India's supercomputing mission. So this was launched in 2015 with an outlay of 4,500 crores. This is run by CDAC and IAS Bangalore. Now, see, right now we have achieved 37 indigenous supercomputers, and they have combined capacity of 40 petaflops. Now, where they are located? They are located in different IITs, ISC. So this is India's supercomputing mission that we have taken from 2015. Something or the other keeps happening here. So every year we will develop some or the other new supercomputer will be installed in some college in India, like mostly these colleges only. Now, so 10 more supercomputers are under commissioning, including a 20 petaflops national AI facility on this. Then, next. Yeah, this is the next topic, which is AI token policy. Now, the thing is, understand this. So, you know about artificial intelligence, at least something you might be using, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. Now, they require something known as tokens. Okay, if you check in your free tier, whatever you are using, you will find that they allow, let's say, 1 lakh tokens to you. Every week you can use that much only. After that, it says that your limits have been over. So those are called tokens. That how much computational power they are sort of allocating to you. Now, if you go beyond it, then they will stop you or will ask you for more money. Now, the problem is that at your level it is fine, but at commercial level, in the industries, in companies, right now it is highly subsidized. So basically, all these AI companies, the frontier AI companies, frontier means basically who have developed these models like ChatGPT, Gemini, all these, Google, OpenAI, all these companies, earlier they were providing it for almost free, very cheap, correct? Now, because of some investor pressure, because investors have invested like billions and trillions of dollars into it, because of that, now they are looking for profits. So they started charging based on token. Right now also it is highly subsidized. But by the end of this year, if you might have heard, like in some earlier current affairs, we talked about that OpenAI is going for IPO. So all these companies are going for IPO, initial public offering, to get money from the system, from normal people. Now, if they are taking money, by the end of this year, there will be a huge pressure on them to make profits also. Right now, they are just burning billions and billions of dollars, but this won't continue. So by the end of this year, they must start showing at least some part to profit. Now, for that, they will start charging, correct? Now, in countries like India, where the industries do not have that much bandwidth economically, the government needs to help. And that is what was talked in one of the articles in The Hindu. That is, government should be subsidizing it. That is, government should be buying, let's say, bulk tokens and allocating it to companies, or getting them at cheaper cost to the companies. Then only, otherwise what will happen, if our companies are not economically that strong, we will just lag behind. That is the whole thing. So now, the argument is that AI is becoming the next layer of public infrastructure like Aadhaar, UPI, and not just a private tech tool anymore. Then, the logic is, if India subsidized identity and payments earlier, it may now need to subsidize compute to unlock the next growth wave. Like right now also, you know UPI you don't pay anything, correct? If she sends me 500 rupees, I get exact 500 rupees. Now, don't you think this transaction must cost something? Something it must cost, na? Some servers are running, something is going on, so it must cost something. Who is bearing that cost? Government is bearing that cost, and they are bearing it for a very long time. Why they keep on bearing this? So that this payment infrastructure in India is robust and expands a lot. If the government says that from next month we will be taking 0.1% of whatever transactions you do, 0.1% will be taking. Do you think these chai walas or anybody who is in the market will be ready to take UPI? they will start asking you for extra money. That if you are paying by UPI, I want 10 rupees more. Why? Because that will be taken by the board. Now government does not want this. Right now we just want to expand our infrastructure. So government is bearing all that cost. So same thing they are proposing that because AI is also becoming so important. So government must bear certain level of token cost also. Then this is why the proposal is framed as reforms 3.2 after 1991 reforms and DPI. This is digital public infrastructure. This includes everything. All these from UPI to Aadhaar, everything is part of DPI. 1991 reforms, you know. L3D reforms. Correct. So they are calling it reforms 3.0. Now, see, core idea of the proposal is give free AI computer tokens to top 100 R&D institutions, universities and about 5,000 high schools. This is the aim. Then estimated cost is around $2 billion per year, which is 0.06% of our GDP. Okay, then the proposed hardware mix is deliberately diverse. So basically taking from different companies. Then the bigger aim is not just access but to make AI training and uses affordable at scale inside India. So that is why government is right now not doing it. It is being proposed right now because everybody knows that the costs are going to skyrocket very soon. Understood? Now there is a conspiracy theory also that goes on which says that see all these companies, these are not small companies that you are talking about. You're talking about Meta, you're talking about Google, you're talking about Microsoft. These are the giants and they control everything. Okay, the ones that you don't even feel, those are also being controlled by them. So basically it is being said that they are lobbying in the US for such norms in other nations. So you will start seeing more and more articles and all that because ultimately they have to grow profit. Now if they increase the cost, the normal people and these small companies, they won't be paying the money. They will say that we will return back to our employees who can manually code and do something. Okay, we won't be able to spend that much money. So that is why what you need, governments. Governments has huge funds. $2 billion can come from India every year, which will be only 0.06% of GDP. And that is what they are aiming for right now. That is why it will be pushed in all over the world. Because this is the main source of money from where money can come without causing much changes. Otherwise, companies will keep on counting that is this employee low in cost or taking that many tokens is low in cost. So companies will keep on arguing this. That's why they are now targeting government and they will do all kinds of lobbying around the world. You will see by the end of this year, certain things will start coming out. Okay, then. Why is this important for India's economy? Of course, the proposal is trying to solve a big bottleneck. India has ideas and talent, but compute is still expensive and concentrated. So, basic things, basically, whatever is the use case of AI, same you can write down that why it is important for India's economy. Okay. Then, major concerns. Major concerns, whatever are the concerns for AI, same thing is there. Energy cost, then chip dependence. India is still dependent on other countries. Language imbalance, same thing. Most of the internet as well as whatever we are doing with AI is not in Indian languages. Then governance gap, deep fakes, bias, training data disputes, accountability rules, same. So basically issues of AI will come here as well. Then next is Gagan. You know what is Gagan? Huh? Gagan is what? Rocket. You can do word breakdown. There was also PYQ on this. Let's see. Okay, so just let's see. So this is actually geo augmentation systems for GPS. Now understand what is this. So basically GPS, it is needed for all the location getting, yes, basically for navigation, all kinds of things. If you want to know the precise position of anything, you need GPS, correct? Now GPS are more or less accurate, but the problem lies when you are trying to do something which requires more technical accuracy. For example, if I am trying to land an aircraft, now there I cannot just depend on GPS, correct? Depending on GPS is fine, to an extent it is fine, but then I have to take a lot of safety distances. For example, see, India has this Gagan. Now what Gagan does, Gagan takes the GPS data. Then apart from this, India has also certain satellites like GSAT 15s. So there are certain satellites within this system and some ground stations. So what all these will do, understand? So you get the GPS data. After that, you have your own satellites also. You have your own ground station also. So you will augment it, or you will make it more precise. So Gagan is that system which makes your GPS more precise. Now, if it becomes more precise, it has many advantages. For example, it can reduce the number of accidents. It can also, so this came in like late 2010s in India. Now, after that, you must have seen that in India, air traffic has increased a lot. Why air traffic can increase now? See, earlier, because they were not very sure of the accuracy, that's why they will want major gap between two aircrafts, when one aircraft lands and when the other is allowed to land, because there is always chances of error, correct? So they have to take much longer halt time or distances between them. But now, because we have more accuracy, we can run more aircrafts. That is why you might have seen in last 10 years the number of flights that are going from a particular airport in India has increased a lot. It was also needed, there was demand, and to be supplied that we needed some augmentation system like this. This is Gagan. Now, what they have recently done is basically this Indigo A320 in Udaipur has achieved almost 3 meter positional accuracy. Okay, so some more positional accuracy it has achieved. Now, it demonstrates that Gagan has evolved from a certified system to an operational precision landing solution for mainline jets. This is Gagan. Now, India is actually one of the very few countries that have such geo-augmentation system. What is it conceptually? Now you have understood this. So basically, this is India's satellite-based augmentation system, jointly developed by ISRO and AAI. What is AAI? What do you think? Yes, Airports Authority of India. Correct. Then it does not replace GPS. You have understood this. It augments GPS. This was also one of the wrong statements that they gave. That Gagan replaces GPS in India's navigational system and all that. Wrong statement. Why wrong? It is not replacing GPS. It is just making GPS more accurate. So it does not replace GPS. It augments GPS by improving its accuracy, availability, and integrity for aviation. Then, integrity information alerts pilots when GPS signals become unreliable, making it suitable for safety critical navigation. So sometimes GPS signals can become unreliable. Also, there is something known as GPS spoofing and attacks. So let's say we are at war with Pakistan, they can do GPS spoofing or attacks on GPS, because of which what you will get, the pilots will start getting wrong information about their own position and the position where they are trying to land. Now this also has alert system, because we have another system also that is completely indigenous, so that can give us augmentation that right now GPS signals are not correct, or this should be the way to correct them. Okay. Then how does Gagan work? Yeah, so basically there are different system. There are some ground based system, there are some satellites like GSAT 8, 10, 15, all these. They all of them together form a complex and augments GPS. Gagan you will see even when you were like regular lectures when we have it, you will see Gagan. There we will draw a diagram of that. Next. Why it is important for India? This you have already understood. So basically one thing you should, this was again made a wrong statement, one of the questions. So basically they said that Gagan is used for navigation of aircrafts but cannot be used for any other mode of transportation. What do you think? Correct. This is simply improving the positional accuracy. So it will help in avoiding train collisions also, road accidents also, correct? All these can be helped by it. Is it being used right now? No. Correct? Not that much is being used right now, but can it be used? Yes. Okay, so that is why application extend beyond aviation to maritime navigation, road transport, railways, disaster management, defense and survey. Okay. Then this is the last, which is Big Bang. Okay. So articles keep on coming about this. So we will just cover this. Now, Big Bang, little bit you know, something you know, huh? Sudden expansion of what? Electricity. What is Big Bang? What is it related to? What is it related to? Formation of universe, correct? That phenomena we have called as Big Bang. Okay, now we will keep on finding articles. This week also there was an article in the newspaper, big thing for kids and all. They explain what is Big Bang. Now, very important phenomena. So basically, this is a hypothesis about the origin of universe. Why I am saying hypothesis? Because of course, देखा तो नहीं है. Okay, and we have not been able to prove it mathematically. Okay, so this is something that has come after a lot of rigorous understanding of theoretical physics. Okay, experimentally we have not shown this. Now, so this is Big Bang. Now, let's understand how it works. So basically, we'll start from this first few seconds what happened, then after 3 minutes, then after 300,000 years like this, and eventually we will get to humans. This is the flow. Now, first thing, the singularity. This is the first phase. Okay, now, what is the singularity? See, it is said that the entire thing that you know as universe right now, it used to be smaller than a subatomic particle. Smaller than a subatomic particle. That small thing was so dense, had all that mass and had all that energy that you see as universe today. Okay, this is called singularity. Now, so the universe began as an unimaginably hot, dense state where space and time themselves emerged. So before that, there was nothing. There was no space also. This is not an explosion in space. This is creation of space itself. You understand the difference? Let's say one asteroid collides with something and it blasts. That is an explosion in space because space is already created. Here there is no space. So this is actually creating space.
Big Bang theory created space.
Yes. Yes. Okay. This is what? Where was that singularity? Where was it? See, space and time. Space is where you are located. Time is what time you have, correct? Both of these things are defined post Big Bang. Before Big Bang, there is nothing. And this is where people with religion and everyone comes that before this, who created Big Bang? Who created this? So they come to an identity that of a supreme power called God. Okay, that is their interpretation, right? It may have come like this. But everything in science, when we study the universe, we define it after Big Bang. We also don't know why Big Bang happened and what was before Big Bang. So we understand that after Big Bang only came all the space that you see, all the time that you understand. Everything came after it. What was before it? We don't know. Religious people know, but we are not very sure, because many religious people, they have different ideas of who exactly was there. Okay.
So between which objects this bang has been happening?
Between
Which objects this bang has been happening? Explosion has been happening.
objects.
Like sir, with like you told that explosion has been happened, right? Between what does it mean?
There is no explosion. Understand? So basically, this is, let's say, a subatomic particle. This just expanded and formed the entire universe. It had everything inside it. There was no explosion such. It just created the whole space like this. Okay. Little difficult to understand. Okay. The universe began as an unimaginably hot dense state where space and time themselves emerged. From here onwards, you will start seeing the journey. How Big Bang came into being, that is very difficult to tell. After this, what happened? That you will understand. All the steps eventually leading to formation of universe. Okay. Now see, first thing. After that, similarity is cosmic inflation. Now, what happens? Basically, cosmic inflation is all that space wasn't within that subatomic particle. It started forming the space more and more. That is called cosmic inflation. Now see. So in a tiny fraction of a second, space expanded far faster than light, making the universe enormous. Much smaller than this. Then a second. See this time. Within first few seconds, it was like 10 to the power minus 34th part of a second when most of this universe was formed. Now, this is much more than the speed of light, correct? And that is why we are not able to really explain why something like this happened. See, in universe, we say that the speed of light is constant and nothing can go more than the speed of light. But here, the entire space was expanded at a speed much greater than the speed of light. Now, so this is what happened in the cosmic inflation. So basically from that point, this space is formed. Right now, this space, there is just space, some atoms, some atomic particles, nothing else. Now, next is called the cosmic soup. Now, what is this? See, in first few minutes, the universe cooled enough for hydrogen and helium nuclei to form. Now what happened? See, so all this energy was going around. Now because of that, when anything, like if I create, let's say, a blast here, now here it will be very hot, correct? That is why when you burn some cracker or something, you run away from it. Because if you go far, it is not that hot, correct? It cools down. So this is what happened with the universe also. That very hot dense subatomic particle has now expanded, and in some far off regions, what started happening, started to cool down so much that first particles started forming. Those first particles were hydrogen and helium. These are the first atoms that are forming here. Okay, now next thing is the dark ages and recombination. Now understand what is dark ages. So basically, hydrogen and helium nuclei is formed, but there are also a lot of electrons that are there in space. So there are a lot of electrons. There are some hydrogen and helium atoms. Now, because of electrons, what is happening? If light is trying to travel, it is constantly colliding with the numerous number of electrons that are all around, because of which light is not able to travel anywhere. Correct? Because light is not able to travel anywhere, so sort of it looked like something that is translucent or dark. Because if light cannot escape, let's say, a particular region, then you won't see anything. So it used to be almost dark or translucent. Okay, now, so this is the dark ages. After around 380,000 years, what happened? These electrons started to get absorbed by all these nuclei. And when the electrons number decreased, most of them got absorbed. Now what you have? Now light is not obstructed by electrons. So what will happen? Light can travel. And then you will get something that we know as visible universe. So after 380,000 years, electrons joined the nuclei and the universe became transparent, releasing the cosmic microwave background. Okay, so the cosmic microwave background is basically the light that is from the time of Big Bang, just after few seconds. This was there. Now, cosmic microwave background is from that time, but it was not allowed to go anywhere. Once the electrons settled, now it could travel, and then we started seeing this. So here is where the universe became transparent. And that is why we also use this light a lot to understand how the universe might have originated. This is called cosmic microwave background. Understood? Then, next. Now you will see the formation of four stars and galaxies. So you have hydrogen, helium, all these. Now, see, gravity gathered gas into the first stars and galaxies. Those stars falls the heavier elements. Now understand this. So basically hydrogen and helium is there. Now let's say at some place there is more hydrogen, more helium. Now wouldn't this place become heavier than the surrounding part? Then the surrounding part will start going towards it. Why? Why? Yes, because of gravitational force. So because of gravitational force, more and more particles, more and more mass will go towards that part. Eventually that mass will become so heavy. And the thing is that basically, let's say it started here. Now, because this part is heavy, so more particles will come here, more gases and more, then it will become even heavier, then it will bring things even from much far off, correct? Then it will grow more, then it will grow more, then it will grow more. Eventually, it will start forming large sized objects that will become stars and galaxies. Understood? So now we are getting stars and galaxies. How? Because all these gases are now gathered to form some big mass. Now, what happened here? Because the mass becomes so high, that is why it starts to collide within itself. So these hydrogen you have, correct? Hydrogen you had helium. Now, all these are also colliding so much because all these particles are coming towards it. So they also started combining. So let's say hydrogen, helium, all their protons, neutrons, everything combined. Then what they will form? They will form heavier elements. So like this is 1, this is 2, correct? If you want to know the mass here is 1 and here the mass is 4. Now if they start combining, can you see that this can become carbon 6 also? Correct? So eventually they will all combine together. This is called nucleosynthesis and carbon compounds form. Similarly, like carbon is formed, similarly oxygen will be formed. Similarly, all different heavy elements were formed later on. So it started with hydrogen and helium, and after that what you are seeing, formation of stars and galaxies and formation of all these different elements that you see around. Slowly over time this is formed. Then so this is the whole thing that has happened. Now, from the first instant to today, the universe has kept expanding and evolving into the structure we see now. So right now also it is expanding. From that time of the Big Bang, the energy is still, the space is still expanding. Okay, this is seen using different phenomena. That why we say that the universe is still expanding. That we'll see when we do universe and particle physics. So we can prove this, that there must be some energy that is going outward, otherwise the system will collapse. So this is the whole flow of how things happen now. So it is still continuing today. It started with this. now you are seeing this. So basically it started with that singularity. From that singularity, what you had expansion of, that is called cosmic inflation. So most of the space was formed. Then after that, what happens? Some part of it started becoming small gases like hydrogen, helium, all these were formed. But there were also electrons. So nothing was visible because light was interacting with it. Then electrons got absorbed by these nuclei. Because of which, once electrons cleared, you could see light passing. Okay, that became your cosmic background. After that, all these gases, once they started to coalesce in a particular place, more and more matter came there and led to the formation of stars and galaxies. Over time, it led to the formation of planets also. Now, when such big mass was created, now all these different nuclei start mixing up with each other to form all other elements. Correct? So all other elements, all metals and everything was formed later on, and eventually how life came into being. So formation of carbon, that is some other thing that we'll learn some other day. Okay, so this is Big Bang. This is it. Thank you.